Oh, dude.
Hey, for yourself, would you say it's important to have a belief in God in life?
Oh, I don't have a belief in God, no.
No? Why would you say you don't?
Because there's no evidence for it, and it seems man-made to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. What evidence, I guess, would you be looking for?
Prayers that work,
Prayers that work.
yes, because they don't.
Okay. Well, like, what? I'd say it kind of sounds like maybe you've had experience with like trying prayer.
Yeah, I was brought up Christian,
Okay.
you know, and my mother's very, very into all that. And of course, for years you pray, you expect things, and really you just realize that it's just coincidences. You remember the things which work, and you forget things, or conveniently ignore the things which don't work. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
have you ever met missionaries like this before?
I know quite a bit about you guys, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. How have you?
Oh, I just have an interest in religions, you
Yeah.
know, and all that, and I'm just always found myself studying it and seeing how, you know, why one is different to the other and why you guys believe in what you believe in.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're LDS, which is also Mormons, which is out of Utah, and Joseph Smith and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like you researched it a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit really. So, and you're on a 2-year mission
Yep.
in Watford.
In Watford, this is
I suppose it's better than Mongolia. I suppose you don't have to learn the language, do you?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to learn a language when I left, but here, like obviously you get a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people from everywhere. Because I've served in London as well.
I'm trying to place your accent.
Where do you think it's from?
You're not American, are you?
I am actually.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I don't know, Canada maybe?
I'm actually from Utah.
Oh, is that a Utah accent?
No, I don't think I have a typical Utah accent. A lot of people tell me that they think I'm from somewhere else.
You sound almost Scottish.
Do I?
Almost.
Very well. Well, I've been here for a while, so
Yeah.
I think my accent has kind of changed over time.
You've been here 2 years,
Almost.
which would make you about 21 now. 22.
Yeah, I'm 20, almost 21.
Yeah. So do you get like girls doing missions or?
Definitely. Yeah, we actually have some sister missionaries. Down over there, talking to somebody.
There's a lot of you guys around today. I mean,
Yeah. So here in Watford,
yeah.
we actually have a pair. So me and another guy that I'm usually with are here. Then we have a pair of sisters or girls that are here.
Yeah.
And then we actually have another pair coming in a few weeks.
Because you're supposed to stick together, aren't you?
Kind of. So the guy I'm usually with is right there. So when we kind of find in town, we stay really close together, but we kind of split up and talk to people.
Okay.
Just kind of depends, really.
Well, in this country, you'll probably, I mean, I'm not from here originally, but
Yeah.
you will find that they're mostly sort of apathetic to the whole thing, or they don't care one way or another. I'm not saying it's a totally atheist or a secular country, but I think it's becoming that way. You know, because they're very cynical.
Yeah.
And I'm becoming cynical as well, maybe from living here. I don't know. But do you yourself, you feel that, do you think the reason you believe is because you were brought up LDS? Or did you do something yourself to say, okay, let's see if this is real or not?
Yeah, I did something for myself. Because I was born into the faith.
Yeah.
But growing up, like when I was going through school, probably when I was turning 14, 15, I kind of stopped doing it because I didn't want to follow my parents. And I didn't want to follow. And so I did my own thing for a while. And my parents were always very good at, you know, they always told me growing up that you need to do it for yourself. Don't just follow us. And so I did. I kind of did my own thing for a while, and then there came a point in my life where I was like, well, there's got to be something more. Because I'd gone through certain, you know, I'm still only 20, but I had gone through things where things had happened to me and other people around me that it didn't make sense to me. And I thought there had to be something more, and so I had
What sort of things happened to them?
Well, I had one friend that died on his mission. He was out serving.
I've heard of things like that.
Was hit by a car and died.
Why would God allow that?
Exactly. And I wondered that a lot. And a lot of mistakes that I had made
Yeah.
To kind of bring some sadness, to some heartache, some loneliness. And so I just wondered why. And I was thinking a lot of this, and so I had to find out for myself. And I found that answer. And obviously, when I came out on my mission, when I was first here in the country, I struggled a bit because I was like, okay, did I find my answer? Did I make a mistake? But as I went through a lot of different experiences, talking with a lot of different people,
The one in India?
I came to know the real power of prayer and of the different messages that we share through the scriptures. And that God is there.
But you came back to LDS though, didn't you? You didn't say, oh, hang on a minute, the Baptists are correct, or the Methodists, or the Hindus.
I actually searched a lot of different religions, and especially on my mission.
Yeah.
I've studied a lot of different religions, talked to a lot of different people from different religions, and looked into it. And there was a few times where I was like, okay, well, that religion's kind of making sense to me. And a lot of other things kind of made sense. But then just different experiences that I had. And prayer was a huge thing for me, because I sat down and I said, okay, you know, people keep telling me, and I heard when I was little, you need to pray and God will answer you. And so I said, I'm going to put this to the test. And I was reading a lot from the Book of Mormon, from the Bible, from different books. I read a lot of the Quran. I read different books.
Oh, yeah.
That I wanted to really know. And I ultimately did find my answer. A lot of very special, sacred experiences for me that I found out that God is there.
Was that the burning in the bosom thing?
In a way, I would say a lot of different people
I wouldn't
feel it
put
different
much
ways.
faith in that, because it's like the Christians do the same thing. They say, Lord, I'm in trouble, come into my heart, and yeah, they feel a lift. It's like, it's just an emotional high, which I'm afraid, I believe that it's generated themselves, because they expect it, so they get it.
Yeah, definitely you can make the argument. I wouldn't say it was that burning in the bosom that people talk about, because I didn't feel like this fire within me.
Well, most ex-Mormons say that when they say that they had that experience, that they just said they did and they really didn't.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say for me it wasn't that way, because I've seen a lot with people. It's different for everybody. Some people it takes a long time to build their testimony. Some people it doesn't. And for me, it was one of those people where it took experiences here and there where it was kind of a build-up. Kind of like, I've heard an expression where when you flip a light on, the light automatically comes on and it brightens up the room.
Yeah.
But then you take like a sunrise where it slowly brightens up the world, or slowly, slowly rises. Mine was kind of the sun rising. It was slow, but I came to find my testimony, and that's why I'm ultimately here today.
But those are good things, and they make you feel good. But how does it prove to you that a being lives somewhere and is controlling your life and created everything? Where is the evidence for that? And a book isn't evidence. It's just the same as the Quran. It could be just something that some people wrote down in order to control other people. Which clearly these books
I think
do.
it's a lot about faith, because faith, it comes down to, because you look at like science says nothing about God. Different things, there's not something that you can really say, okay, that tells me exactly who God is and exactly what happened. And it just doesn't. That's the fact.
No, it looks at evidence.
Yeah. So science, it doesn't tell us that God's there. It doesn't.
I'm not like complete atheist. There may be something. The universe itself might be alive, which accounts for why we're alive. Mm-hmm. But when I look at Bible, Book of Mormon, all the books, they look man-made.
Yeah.
It's like, this is something a person would make up. Don't do this. Kill a gay person. It's like what a prejudiced person would write down. It's like, oh, you've got to do it because the supernatural being will kill you. That'll make them do it.
Yeah.
And somebody came up with that millennia ago, and it's been working ever since. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to, make you lose your faith or anything, but that's what the conclusion I came to. If you know something I don't, but it's got to be fairly concrete, or I'm just gonna continue as I am.
No, yeah, that's fair enough.
And my life's no different now than it was before. Good things happen, bad things happen, shit happens. I lost a job. I had a job for 20 years, and it looked like I was going to lose it. And my mom got all her friends together and prayed and everything, and I still lost it. And now she says, well, thank God you got another job. I said, well, it's not really the point.
Yeah.
It's doesn't pay as much. I went through all that stress. It was the worst time of my life. And, whatever happened, she thanks God. And my argument is then, well, why believe in a God at all? If there was no God, you could just do the same thing. I know believers who thank God when there's an earthquake, not for the earthquake, but that this person and that person survived. Well, what about all the children who were crushed? It's like...
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think that's why it's so tough in life to know why if there is a God, because there is so much stuff that happens around us.
Yeah.
And it's hard to put your finger on it. And that's why as missionaries, a lot of what we teach is about faith.
Yeah.
Because faith isn't to have a perfect knowledge of it, to know exactly how things happen, how the world was created, what God exactly looks like, but faith is to just hope for those things and to know that we go through these things, but in the end, it's going to be okay. That right now, we're going through all these different trials, like with your job. Yeah, it was probably the worst time of your life, or one of them. But in the end, kind of everything will turn out okay.
But wouldn't the point of praying be that, please God, I've been faithful to you, I really want to keep my job, and he goes, okay, and you keep it. Oh, and by the way, I want a new car. Bang, there it is. That would make you believe.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Oh yeah, I definitely see what you mean. And I think kind of what I thought about, at least for myself in life, is that God, we're here to really learn, to grow. And I think God, he wants us to believe, but he's not going to do everything to just be like, to make it really easy for us to believe, because he wants us to have that faith. And so, he does it in his own way and in his own time, and we don't understand that a lot of times. Like for my life, I don't understand why I've gone through a lot of the things that I've gone through. I don't understand why. So for example, I took my theory test yesterday to get my driver's license.
Oh yeah, good.
I prayed so hard before.
Yeah.
And I was like, please help me pass. I didn't pass.
That's because you were relying on an outside source more than yourself.
Well, I studied. The theory book was probably my best friend for a month, and I studied really hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, please help me. Please help me to remember the things that I've studied. Please. And I relied on myself, but I was like, please just help me a bit. I didn't pass. I don't know why I didn't pass. Maybe it was, I don't know why. I don't know. But I know that, maybe there's a reason. I don't know. But I know that it wasn't because that God's not there that I didn't pass. Maybe there's some other reason. Some other reason that maybe I'll find out later in life. But a lot of the things that happen around us can shake our faith. And that's why we talk so much about prayer, about these things.
Yeah.
Because there's in subtle ways in life that God can let us know that he's there. And they all the time seem like coincidences. They all the time seem like, well, that could have happened anytime, or that person,
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard in life, because with our minds, we're like, why, I want concrete evidence. I want to see it. When in life, it's really hard for that.
Yeah.
And
Now,
so,
I know you guys, you don't believe in the fiery hell. You believe in the outer darkness and all that. Let me see if I get this right. There's telestial and the celestial, and there's one other kingdom.
terrestrial,
which is this. And so, I mean, that I like,
Yeah.
I like it because I don't believe in all-knowing, all-loving God would allow, this burning forever thing just because you didn't believe in him.
Yeah.
You don't believe in him because he's invisible. Well, what did you expect? Most people are not going to believe. If you're brought up Hindu, you're going to stay Hindu, probably.
Exactly.
So, for me, that part of the Bible it's got to be false. That sounds like something that somebody would invent to make people do what they say.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot with the Bible. I mean, it's been tampered with a lot. A lot of different versions.
Oh yeah.
A lot of different things. And that's why we teach about, that's why we've been given the Book of Mormon.
You believe that's part of the restoration?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, obviously we still believe in the Bible, but we know that it's not a perfect book.
Yeah.
But that's why we've been given another testament to just make that a little bit more solid, to know exactly what Jesus Christ did, how he's the savior of the world, not
Yeah.
just that part of the world, but of everybody. And that he loves everybody. That we're all God's children. That we're here for a greater purpose. And sometimes it's hard to see that. That's just the fact of it. Life is hard.
Can I ask you, if you went home to your mom and dad and said, I really don't believe in this anymore, would it be, would your life basically be turned upside down? Because what I generally hear is Mormons, if they do, everyone just basically turns their back on it, even their own parents. I mean, is that a myth?
Yeah. Well, I would say in some cases, sadly, it's true.
Yeah.
That some families are that way. But I know that there's so many people in the church that if you say that, they're still going to love you the same. Obviously, they want you to believe because that's what they believe, and they think that that's the best for you. They know that that's the best for you. So it'll make them sad. Like my parents, they'd probably be a little sad, but they'd love me the same. They'd treat me the same.
Yeah.
Same with my whole family.
Yeah.
And so obviously in sad cases, I mean, you see that in other religions as well.
Yeah.
That if a person leaves the religion, that their family just totally turns their back on them and disowns them.
Jehovah's Witnesses do that big time.
Yeah, exactly. So you see it in a lot of different religions, sadly. But I think that in the church, there's also the majority that say, you know, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I still love you. I know for me, if any of my family did that, it doesn't matter. I mean, even anybody that doesn't listen to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know what I believe, and I just want to share the message, but I'm still going to love you the same.
Yeah.
Because I can't make you think a certain way. I can't make you think how I think, and I wouldn't want you to think how I think. Because the world would be pretty boring if everybody just thought the same way that I did.
But isn't that the point of a religion? Like you guys have been sent out by the bishops and what do you call them, the quorum of 12 or something like that. Yeah, you're really to recruit people into the business. You know, it's almost like there's people down there giving away Coca-Cola. It's like, so you will go and give money and be part of this big corporate entity. I'm afraid that's how I see what you guys and the Jehovah's Witnesses are doing. They're sending you guys out to bring more money into the business.
Okay.
I know that's probably sounds very harsh to you.
That's okay.
But after years of thinking about it and just observing life, you know, because I'm a bit older than you, and I've observed a few things, and it is sort of a dog-eat-dog world, sadly. You know, everyone is out for themselves. Yeah, and you know, I see it in myself as well. I'm thinking, yeah, that's what religion is. That's all it is. You know, and you look at anyone who's at the top, whether it be, is it Monson, the guy at the top?
Yeah.
They probably live in a huge house, a huge car, and where's that money come from?
So actually, Thomas S. Monson, he lives in a little flat. So I've actually seen it.
Yeah, does he though?
Yeah, no, it does, because that's where they have a flat right by kind of where the church headquarters are, where the church office building is and stuff. Where all the prophets, that's where they stay, is in that flat.
Yeah.
Right, it's just right across the street from all those things. And they just have it's on the top floor, but it's nothing immaculate.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we very much believe in, to be humble. Obviously, if you have money, great, but use it to a good purpose.
Okay.
Be humble and don't, because you see a lot of people that their main purpose in life is to just get more money and to just see how many material things that they can have.
Yeah.
But the things that we teach is that, you know, it's good to provide for yourself. You obviously need to have those things.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to this life than just materials.
I know that. I mean, I know the important thing is really to be as good to others as possible. And I'm practically an atheist, see? So, and I know a Christian will say, well, you got that from the Bible. I say, well, no, I got that because it's within me anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and getting back to the quorum and all that, some of them are supposedly, you know, prophets, aren't they? You know, they talk to God. I mean, do you really believe that? Because, you know, I mean, at one point in history they say black people can't have the priesthood. And then when there's a lot of civil, you know, they were encountering a lot of problems with the government about that. Suddenly, like, oh, we've had a revelation. They can. I thought, oh, come on. Now,
Kind of seems.
I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but I want to know what you think of that, because perhaps you haven't researched.
No, I have. I know, obviously, all
And that's
about
not the only time.
No, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. Obviously, I know about all that. obviously as missionaries talking to people in the street, we hear about it all. We get thrown stuff at us all the time.
Yeah.
And I know about all that.
But they teach you that in the MTC, though.
About the whole black thing and stuff.
Yes. And the controversy around Joseph Smith, which I could spend all day on.
There's a lot of controversy around him. There's a lot of controversy about kind of in the early times of the church when it was restored, about what things went on and polygamy, different things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly all the answers on why those things took place.
Don't get me wrong. I know you guys do some great things, really. But I don't think you need an organization or a belief to be able to do charitable things and to be nice and all that, so that you'll be rewarded, so you won't burn in hell or outer darkness or whatever.
Where else are we going to go?
I think it's much better if you decide to do that without any of those restrictions.
That's fair enough. Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
You're probably wishing you hadn't spoken. I mean,
no, I love it. No, I've been on my mission for a while now, and so I've heard a lot of things, and it's totally fine. I know everybody has their opinion.
I used to be a staunch believer. I really did, and I still find myself praying and then go, "What am I doing?"
Yeah. What would you say? I mean, was it just kind of incidents in your life that made you not believe? Would you say?
It's really strange. I came to Watford to go to college, and I went to college, and I made a friend there, and he was just not a believer, and I used to I suppose, proselytize to him a bit.
Yeah.
And he would just come back with these very simple bits of logic, and I'd walk away, and almost overnight I went, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
It's all man-made, isn't it? It's obvious. It just clicked, and I've been like that ever since. My mum doesn't realize. She really doesn't. I can't.
Your mother's still a very strong believer.
Yes, I think it's done her more harm than good, because she relies on God to help her, God to save her. And the more people that pray, the better, and all that sort of thing. And, she's broken her hip twice, she's got psychological problems, but she thinks, oh, it'll be fine in the end, I'll go to heaven. As long as those random thoughts I have don't annoy God. So it's another thing. She's afraid that what she thinks is probably condemned her to hell, and she's constantly terrified about that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, Mom, just live your life,
Just calm down a bit, yeah. I've thought a lot about that as well. I think to just, basically break it down is there's a lot of things in life, a lot of things that surround things, a lot of little details that make us question. One thing that I figured out is Satan is very real. And I've heard one quote that I really like is that the greatest trick that Satan played on the world is to make them believe that he doesn't exist. So it's kind of the same type of thing.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
You could say that about the jinn or all the Muslim baddies, that they have out there. That's just wordplay, really. A guy who was in heaven, got pissed off, and now he spends all his time visibly going around to 6 billion people trying to annoy them.
There's kind of a lot of bold statements, and I realize that as a missionary is we come to people. So we stop people in the street and we say, hey, we're telling you about a book today.
Yeah.
And then we say, hey, we're telling you about a 14-year-old boy who went into the woods and saw God and Jesus Christ. What do you think about that? Pretty bold statement, right?
Yeah.
Kind of sounds crazy a bit. And that's why we just simply invite people to hear about it, to pray, to just try to find out.
They've seen the South Park episode. They're not going to go for it. So.
Yeah, South Park does a lot on us.
Because they are Mormons as well, the guys who started that show.
Yeah.
And now they've done the play. The musical.
Yeah, they've got the musical.
So I think it's probably bringing you guys a lot of converts, actually, rather than the other way around.
Yeah. It's brought a lot of questions about the book, and people have investigated it. But there's a lot of stuff that we can say about it. But simply, we're just here to invite, to just share this message and to invite people. If they're not interested, that's fine.
Yeah.
If they are, great. We're happy to share it.
Okay. Have I got you thinking?
What's your name?
Have I got you thinking at all?
What?
Have I got you thinking at all?
Well, the thing about it
You're
is...
a Mormon, you got to be honest with me.
A little bit. But the thing about it is I've thought about all this stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think my testimony is very, very grounded now. Okay. Because of all the things I've been through and all... Because there was actually... To be really honest with you, I like to be really honest with people.
Yeah.
I've been, I've thought a lot of these things, and there was even a point in my mission where I doubted a lot. And I questioned everything. I was like, did these things really happen? And I was serving a mission. I was supposed to be sharing this message.
I know.
And so it was hard for me.
That's why I asked about your family. I didn't want to get you thinking so much that you went home and your family disowned you. 'Cause I know this sort of thing happens.
Yeah, it does. But my family, they're great, and they would never ever do that to me. But what is your name, by the way?
Mark.
Mark. Well, it was great to meet you, Mark.
Yeah, I know you want to get on.
Yeah. Well, we do have to. We have another appointment, but.
What is you guys have like one day off to do laundry and stuff? Is it like
Yeah, we
Saturday?
get 1 day a week. We're called Preparation Day, where it's kind of just our relaxation day. We can do laundry, things like. Well, obviously, I do laundry throughout the week. We'll just throw it in the wash and leave it because we do have a washer and everything in our flat.
Is it true you guys pay for this whole thing yourself?
Yeah, it's a total volunteer thing that we do.
Is it voluntary? Or
Yeah.
Because I hear it's like it's really expected of you. And no girl's going to marry you unless you're a returned missionary.
People say that.
If it's
but
mythology, tell me.
it is. It's mythology because they. I mean, obviously we're told it's a great opportunity and responsibility that we have as in the church, but it's totally up to you. If you feel like it's not for you.
I'll tell you, I do have one of those at home.
Do you?
Yes. So, and the other two, don't tell me. Doctrine and Covenants and the Pearl of Great Price.
Yeah, you know a lot, Mark.
I'll tell you, it's fascinating. We could get into the whole Kolob thing, but we don't have time.
Maybe how fast an angel flies or something like
You're
that.
a great dude. Lovely talking to you.
Yeah, it was lovely talking to you as well.
All right, man.
You have a
See
great
ya.
night.